most people are not even aware that there is a consciousness shift happening on the planet right now. There's so many distractions. There's all this stuff happening, crazy stuff happening all over the world. And what happens is when people are in fear and anger, they're much easier to control. They're much less likely to ask deeper questions. They're in survival mode. They're literally worried about their safety and their health. And because of that, what do most people do then? They look to authority. They look to authority to feel safe. They look to authority to tell them what's happening. And when people are in that level of consciousness, they are way less powerful. Now, there's a new earth that is coming. Can you feel it? Eckhart Tolle talked about this. He wrote a whole book about it called A New Earth, which has to do with a level of consciousness that is emerging on the planet. And literally, if we do not evolve our level of consciousness, our planet will destroy itself. Let's cross-check this over to what Dolores Cannon talked about in 17 or 19 of her books. And it wasn't even her talking about it. Dolores Cannon was a hypnotherapist for like 40 years. And her books are transcripts from people in a deep level of hypnosis. And tens of thousands of people all over the world have been in this specific healing hypnosis state where their higher self comes through. It's like voice recorded. Many people don't even remember when they come out what they're saying or what they said. They're in like this state of consciousness where their higher self and their subconscious mind comes through to relay all this information. And there's many books written that are just transcribed sessions with people. And interestingly enough, thousands of people from all over the world who have done this kind of hypnosis and their higher self and subconscious mind came through, you want to know what it said? Many times in different ways. We came here to be a part of this shift. The shift in consciousness. We came here to be and to help the planet move into what is called New Earth. A new way of being, a new level of consciousness. And we came here to help that transition happen so that people didn't get left behind. Because in Dolores Cannon's material, what it talks about is this 3D to 5D Earth split. Now, this sounds very esoteric, sounds kind of woo-woo, and there are things we need to realize about this that I want to share because people might get kind of lost in the details of this. But a 3D to 5D Earth split. Let's first off talk about the different elements of 3D to 5D. It's very important to understand this because then you can see where your vibration is laying, because whatever your vibration is in, that is the reality you are experiencing. And what it says in the Dolores Cannon material is that there's these two levels of consciousnesses that will be on the planet for a period of time. But then eventually what will happen is these levels of consciousness will begin to shift. And with it, there will be an energy split that happens, an energetic energy split. I want to make that clear. This is something that also Bashar has talked about, who's been around for almost 40 years, channeling very similar material and energy. And what he talks about is how you want to be on the train track you want to be on, because as the years continue to progress, because things are evolving in consciousness, the track that you are on with the train track, it's like you're leaving a station. And what happens is eventually they're going to be splitting all these different tracks. And what happens is for a period of time, which is what we're in right now, you have the ability to look at the other train tracks to see what's happening. You can see. It's almost like there's a glass wall that you can look and observe. But what he says is similar to what Dolores Cannon says, is that as time goes on, it's going to be harder and harder to jump from train track to train track or to even see what's going on. It's literally as if your frequency shifts and then you just cannot perceive of the old vibration anymore, of the old earth anymore, if you're on the new earth. And vice versa, if you're trapped in the energies of what is called 3D, which is kind of being asleep in the illusion of duality, of separation. If you think of 3D and 5D Earth, think of it like 3D is that of separation, duality, good, bad, light, dark, fear, anger, being stuck in a form of victimization, being stuck in they're doing this to us, or they're doing this to me, stuck in the old patterns, angry, it's the government's fault, buying into the media. These are all very common things, the social conditioning of the third dimension level of consciousness. Now, what it talks about in that of Dolores Cannon, Eckhart Tolle even, Bashar, and even also the Law of One, which are considered some of the most profound channelings of our time, talks about this same split, this same type of energy, and it's called the harvest. The harvest is where it's happening right now. There's a harvesting of energy within every one of our bodies of consciousness that we have the potential to sprout. And there will be this option to literally upgrade to a higher level of consciousness in our life. Now, 5D is more about understanding connection to each other, unity. What we put out is what you put out is what you get back. That we're all in this together. When you think of 5D, it's also like having the courage to do the shadow work, to take ownership and responsibility for what's happening, not just blaming everything else happening out there. What can I change within myself? Following your passion, your purpose, understanding money in a very different way. Living more at unity and at one with the earth. Now, some of these things I'm sharing with you right now, it may seem like a long shot. You're telling me we're going to do this all right now? But the thing is if we don't, we continue to crumble with the old level of consciousness. Now, what it says in Dolores Cannon's material is that back in the 1920s, 1930s, there was an energetic call that was put out through the universe that literally said the earth was like, I'm going to be destroyed. I know this sounds very esoteric, but this is also talked about in the Law of One, and it is also talked about in Dolores Cannon and her material, and even Bashar, and even Eckhart Tolle would probably agree with this too. The earth is a sentient being, and we are cells on it. Macrocosm, microcosm. I know this sounds esoteric for some people, but the earth has chakra points on it. In the Law of One, it's called the logos. There's these different connection to different planetary systems and spheres, and it's all microcosm, macrocosm. So what happens is on planet Earth, there was a call that was put out in the back in the 1920s, 1930s when we were experimenting with nuclear bombs. And what happened is it was very clear that the timeline we were on is we were going to destroy ourselves if nothing happened. But then what happened is there was this call that Mother Earth put out, Mother Gaia, whatever name. I know it sounds really weird and esoteric to even say that for some people. But that call that was put out, there were people, beings all over the universe that felt this connection to Earth, that knew it was going to be very hard, that knew they were going to have to forget who they are to remember who they are. And that they came here to go through that process because they wanted to be here during the shift. They call it the shift. This was, once again, through thousands of people that have been in QHHT from Dolores Cannon's technique. So this isn't just like one person said this. Many people, just like you and me, that are in deep level hypnosis would say these things. Came here to be a part of the shift. Came here to be a part of the new earth. And one of the rules of our reality is we must forget who we are to remember who we are. And then we go through a process of redefining who we are and how we choose to show up in the world. Now, the values of the 3D, it's very much about unconsciousness. And that's why what we must do now on the planet is become aware of the unconsciousness within ourselves. Become aware of the energies that have been on autopilot. Not just in the world, I can look out and see all this drama and stuff that's happening, but also within ourselves. And then to take responsibility and ownership of it. It's why I think a process like Ho'oponopono is so powerful. It's a very simple process that has to do with forgiveness. And when you forgive within your own energy field, because you take ownership of it being in your field, of your response to something that happened, you begin to clean out your field and you begin to elevate your frequency. What it says in the law of one, what we must do is we must balance out the first bottom 3 chakras in order to move into our heart. It says that the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus are very imbalanced. First 3 chakras, also third dimension. Unaware of the first 3 chakras. Unaware of the stuff that's in there. Root chakra, feeling safe. Remember, if we don't feel safe, we're going to look to authority for us to feel safe. You got the solar plexus, you got the sacral chakra. If those are imbalanced, it keeps us tethered in the unconsciousness of the 3D. Sometimes even addicted subconsciously to the drama. And what it says in the law of one is we must balance out those bottom 3 chakras and then move into our heart. And in the heart is where we feel connection with everyone. We feel connection with source. We feel connection and understanding that what I put out is what I get back, because what you do to someone else, you're doing to another aspect of yourself. So New Earth, this idea of New Earth, is about understanding that it is here right now. It's a level of consciousness. The third dimension, the duality, the separation, the fear, and the anger, it is also here right now. Now, you can look out into the world and you may see more craziness than ever before, and you may think that it's crazier than it's ever been. But it's actually not. It's not only is it not as crazy as it's ever been, because think about it, back in the day, talk about a show called Vikings or something like that, where people are like beheading each other and doing all this crazy stuff. And I know in certain parts of the world there's crazy stuff like that happening, but the scale of it in our reality right now is not happening. It's just that we are becoming aware of the subconscious stuff that was unconscious for so long. And as we become aware of that unconscious stuff, we're able to look at it to see, is this the world I want to live in? Is this the place I want to put my energy? So it's just that it's coming to the surface for us to look at, not only in the collective, but in our reality. When we talk about the new earth, let's not even talk about the physical location of a new earth. Let's talk about a new level of consciousness within yourself. Because the more you tap into that, the more you're tapping into the new earth. The more you will meet other people that are also in that new earth frequency. Think of it like a frequency. It's the new earth frequency, not a location you're going to go. Now, for a long time, there's this belief, 3D, 5D earth split. It's going to split, and there's going to be this earth that goes over here and this earth that goes over here. And we're never, what if, that was one question to Dolores Cannon. It's like, what if I'm on 5D earth, but I want my pets or my animals or this person or this person over here to come along? First off, plants and animals, they're already in it. They're already in it. You don't have to try to like awaken your dog even more, or your cat. And be like, hey, just so you know, the 5D earth splits about your house, just let me help you evolve. I'll put some crystals around you. When I leave the house, I'll put on some theta beats and you're gonna ascend with us. But instead, they're going to be fine. But some people, what about the other people that are lost in the 3D? I want to go over there and help. And what Dolores Cannon says in her books, or the transcripts say in her books, is that you can't do that. As much as you want to, I'm so selfless, I'm so good, I'm going to go help these people over here who are completely bought in and lost in the drama. Remember, that's not how people wake up. And it's not two separate little places they're going to go. 5D over here, 3D over here. I'm going to go and jump from this world and come back to this world. It's not that literal. Energetically, if you go try to help someone that's stuck in 3D, has that ever worked? The way you help other people is you show them through your level of consciousness how you're choosing to live. They will see it and they will either resonate with it or they won't. But when you have someone that's asleep, that's very sometimes even attached to the drama, it's hard to wake people up like that. Normally, you try to wake someone up, they may be mad, you try to woke them up. It's like they feel, in their perspective, you're violently shaking them. They're like, just let me sleep, just let me sleep. Not everyone likes the alarm clock. But our purpose wasn't to come here and to be a part of the shift and to wake everyone else up. Our purpose was to come here to forget who we are, to remember who we are, and then to do the inner work to evolve that level of consciousness within ourselves. This is not a physical location ascension where we're leaving everybody else. Sayonara's, sleep sheeple, which is all, that's ego, by the way, that does that. When I went through my awakening in 2012, it's like, everyone else doesn't understand me, they're just asleep. Separation. I'm better than, I'm grandiose and better than them because they're asleep. Be aware of this. A lot of times, the one ego will leave, the spiritual ego comes in the back door. It's like, hey, look at my crystals. But the most important part of this video to understand is that the new earth is inside of you. It is a level of consciousness. You can choose to embody it by using the power of meditation, by using the power of awareness, by balancing out the bottom 3 chakras and moving into that of the heart chakra. And when you do that, you embody the new earth frequency. Now, the old 3D is going to continue to play itself out. The best thing you can do is observe it, but not get caught up in it, not be distracted by it. Because then it drains your life force energy. Remember, you're meant to be a beacon in the energy that you prefer, and everyone else may or may not resonate with that. And what'll happen is, as time goes on too, those train tracks that continue to divide, it'll be harder and harder to reach back and to like get other people on board. You're not going to want to get them on board. You just got to be yourself. You got to do your own inner work. As you do your own inner work and you become aware of your own shadows in your life, you will notice that old patterns fall away. Let them. Some people may fall out of your life. Let it. It's okay. You will make room for more and more people that are in this new earth frequency to come into your life. But it is happening right now on the planet. And to not get lost into 3D means to observe. It means to balance out the bottom 3 chakras. I may make a meditation on that. If you want me to, go and like this video and comment below if you want me to make a meditation on balancing out the bottom 3 chakras and moving into the heart for the new earth frequency so that you become a part of the harvest. The harvest is what it's called. And understand that this is something you came here. If you watch this video all the way to this point, you came here, and there's a part of you that probably knows deep down you came here to be a part of this shift. You came here to remember this about yourself. You can only perceive that which you are the vibration of. But the key is dedicating to taking responsibility for your own energetic field. Instead of just, I'm always going to save other people. There's so many people, they want to save other people. They want to help the planet evolve. But the way we do that is through doing it within our own level of consciousness, being the carriers of this kind of frequency. One thing it talked about in Dolores Cannon's books was she said there's these 3 waves of volunteers, these volunteer souls that came here to help kind of bring a new frequency into the planet. And the kids nowadays, they're completely activated at a different level. One thing it said, though, is that there's a lot of souls that come here that are literally just carrying energy within themselves. And the energy they carry transforms people, even when they're at the grocery store. It's an energy that influences people subconsciously and in ways we don't even understand. But the key is you got to be able to shine that light. You got to be able to shine it. And as you shine it, you will notice that serves its purpose. So Raising your vibration and elevating your frequency is the key to this entire process as well. If you haven't done it yet, go to whatsmyvibration.com, calibrate your vibration, get a meditation for upgrading it to the next level. And if you haven't yet, there's a guided meditation on YouTube on raising your dominant vibration permanently. Read the comments to see what's possible. Commit to that meditation for 21 days and watch how you begin to embody more of that new earth frequency. I'll go ahead and put that video right here.